In this video, I'm going to go over the syllabus. I'm not going to go over the syllabus line by line. I'm going to only highlight some major points. Now, this is the syllabus for both section 2 that meets on campus and section 3 is the internet section. The section that meets on campus meets 12:15 to 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday in room 113 of Fletcher. The internet students are also welcome to this class if they are free and they can attend the section. Now my office is in 106 Fletcher Hall, and I have listed two telephone numbers. I prefer this telephone because if you leave a message, I'll be able to check for messages much more frequently and often in this telephone rather than the campus phone. So I prefer that you use this telephone number. Now my office hours, I have online office hours from 1 to 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and 3 to 4 is on campus in my office. And you could also meet me by setting up appointments, and you can contact me by email using this email ID. I have another email ID, dileepan@utc.edu, but I prefer the marks.utc.edu for my classes, for students to access. So I recommend that you use this email ID. Now, these are the prerequisites for the class. Make sure that you meet the prerequisites. If you don't meet the prerequisites, then you will be dropped from the class, I think about a week or 2 weeks into the semester. So you need to make sure that read through these prerequisites carefully and make sure that you meet them. Then you have the course description, course learning outcomes, and I'm going to leave it to you to read through those. The textbook, this is an important point that you have to make note of, and we need to have access to what is called MyOM Lab, and this MyOM Lab access comes with an electronic text version, so you don't really need to buy a hard copy of the book. So if you get the access card, that's sufficient. But if you like to have a paper copy, you can always do so. You go to Blackboard, and I have listed 3 different options for you, and you can use any one of those 3 options. My recommendation is to go for the least expensive one, which is the MyOM Lab Access, which gives you the electronic version of the text and no hard copy. Now, one more thing about textbook which is extremely important is that you need to buy the access code and access to register. When you register for the MyOM Lab, you need to get to the Pearson MyOM Lab page via the Blackboard. Okay, you have to go to Blackboard because I have made a link from our Blackboard course to our Pearson course. So if you go from Blackboard, you click on textbook, you are linked to my class in Pearson website, so you'll be able to register for the class properly. If you go independent of Blackboard directly to Pearson, then there will be some problems. Don't do that. I will not be giving, if it asks for some class ID or something, I won't be giving any of the class IDs. So you have to go from our Blackboard to Pearson's MyOM Lab site, then you don't have to give the class ID. It will ask you for school ID, and the school ID is your student ID. Use your student ID for school ID. There is no course ID needed. I will not be giving out any course ID. You have to make sure that you go from Blackboard to the MyOM web page. The class will be conducted in then the course conduct. So all the class lectures and exercises and classroom problems will be made available as online videos from Blackboard. The classroom will be used, class time will be used primarily for discussions and question and answers and so on. And that's why I welcome both students from both sections to the classroom. And attendance is not mandatory, but there are tasks that you have to complete, and those tasks will have to be completed on time, otherwise there will be late penalties. And here is a link to Blackboard, and what you will have in Blackboard are listed here. And you will have class schedule and tasks to complete, and you need to complete them on a regular basis on time. During the course of the semester, I'll be adding content to Blackboard on a regular basis. So you need to check Blackboard often. I would recommend at least twice a day, and make sure that if there are any new materials added, then you are aware of it and you complete the requirements on time. Now, evaluation, we'll have 2 exams, and they will have to be in person and proctored, and I have given the schedules here. October 3rd for the first exam, 2 to 4 p.m., and I'll announce the location later on. Now, this is only a tentative date, subject to change, but I will do my best not to change it. I'll make sure that we keep it unless there is an unavoidable circumstance that comes up. The final exam will be on the same date as in the final exam schedule published in UTC website. Now, both sections will have the exam at the same time, at the same place. Now, if you're not able to make it to these times, then it's your responsibility to make sure that you arrange the exam to be proctored. And I'm here to help you find a proctor, but it is your responsibility to make sure that you get it scheduled and take the test with a proctor. Now, there will be what is called QuizMe. I'll talk about QuizMe in just a little bit. And quiz, these 2 will be offered via MyOM Lab. And then we'll have homework, and that will be offered via Blackboard. Okay, let's go to the QuizMe part. QuizMe is a section where in OM Lab you will have practice problems, practice questions, and you can go through those practice problems any number of times, and then you take the QuizMe. The QuizMe will have a set of questions, and you have to pass the QuizMe with at least 80%. If you don't, then you have to go back to the practice section and do the practice some more and then come back. So you have to pass the QuizMe. Once you pass the QuizMe with 80% or more, then you get mastery points. Now, once you get the mastery point, then you can take the chapter quiz. Okay, without getting the mastery point, you cannot take the quiz. So you have to do that and take the quiz in MyOM Lab. Now, homework, we will have one homework for every class period, and it will be due the very next class period. You can do the homework in Word or Excel, in which case you save the files and upload it in Blackboard. But if you work the homework with the paper and pencil, then you have to scan your homework and convert it into PDF format. So I'll accept only Word document, Excel document, and PDF document. If you submit a file in any other format, I will not grade them. And you have to resubmit in an acceptable format, and lateness will count. If you scan, the scan gives you a JPG file and you want to convert it into PDF, then you can use this site which offers you free conversion from JPEG to PDF. And one more thing, your completed homework must be submitted in Blackboard. You cannot email the files to me. Under no circumstance, emailed file will be accepted. I will not grade them. You have to turn it in, upload it in Blackboard. If you uploaded a wrong file, and then you have to upload a correct file, then you have to tell me, then I can add an additional attempt, or I can clear your previous attempt so you can upload the new one. Emailed, once again, I repeat, emailed files will not count. And technology, okay, so in as much as all the class lectures and exercises will be offered via video online in Blackboard, and you have to do MyOM Lab on the internet, and you have to have high-speed internet access, reliable high-speed internet access. Then if you're going to be using campus internet, then you have to make sure that you do the work sufficiently ahead of time, so you don't run out or you don't come against closing time in the library. If the library closes before you finish, that means that you did not plan your activities properly, and that is not a valid excuse for extra time. Late penalty and late policy will count. Now, communication, all your communication will happen via email. I will be sending out email if and when needed using your Mox email ID. So you have to make sure that you check your Mox email ID at least twice a day. Not checking email ID is once again not a valid excuse for any deadline that you miss. And here are some important dates and a tentative schedule. Once again, the midterm exam is scheduled on a Friday, and if you can't make it at this time, you have to make alternative arrangement. This is a tentative date, subject to change, but only under extraordinary circumstances. I'll try my best not to change it. And the final exam is the same date as given in the final exam schedule in UTC website. And both sections will take the test at the same time, the same place on campus.